Hey, welcome to Mr. Inky Fingers. Let's grab a pen, put some ink to work. Today, I have got a pretty cool pen. This is a brand Stipula, and my history with Stipula goes back about 15 years or so. My first introduction to Stipula was a pretty subpar pen. And I was checking out flex pens, and the Stipula that I got was the Stipula Splash. When I got this pen, I was so disappointed. It was a very short pen, very not just plastic, the resin, but super light. Felt like some plastic junk you might get at a gas station or something. It was just terrible. It also dripped ink. It bled like crazy, and it would shoot droplets out. Absolute terrible. And that was my first introduction to Stipula. And I thought, man, I would never buy another, Italian Stipula pen in my life. That did change. Eventually I came back around and I kind of fell in love a little bit with the Etruria. And so much so that I got a few. And this one especially love. This is the Gorilla matte black finish. And I've been kind of on a matte black kick, but this one is fantastic. I want to show you a little bit. The Etruria comes in multiple finishes, and even some come with converter, cartridge converter design, and then some come as a piston filler. You can get some with the steel nib and some with a gold nib. This pen I really love. The Gorilla finish is great. This one is a cartridge converter finish. It does come with a steel nib. The only thing it says on there is Stipula. Let's see if we can put that into view. Made in Italy. Firenze, made in Italy. Has a little bit of ring on the back end of the barrel. It does not come off or move, and the threads are really nice, and it's plastic on plastic threads. Pretty smooth to screw on. The clip I really like. It has the Stipula leaf there, and you can see how that looks. The only reason I have a clip or I use clips are for roll stops. So anyways, this does open up, and it is, like I mentioned, a cartridge converter. Today we're going to be using, I believe I have Raven Noir in here, the Monteverde Raven Noir. Kind of moving back off of that. The Raven Noir that I got, and I thought, man, this is going to be a kind of a darker ink. Turned out it is black, but it's not as deep and saturated as I want. I'm going to start moving back to darker, blacker, more saturated inks. One of my favorites is, Aurora Black. I just love it. It's great. I did try the carbon black, platinum carbon black. People were saying it's pretty saturated and black. To me, it came out more, had a gray tinge to it. Gray. And I don't know if that was just me, but I was just looking at when I'm using it, and I wasn't really as satisfied with that one. So anyways, going back to Aurora. But with this one, we're going to use the Monteverde Raven Noir. Pretty decent black ink. And then we'll check that out. So we're going to do a drawing with this one and do a little bit of a chat as we go along, a couple more thoughts on the pen, and we'll go from there. Okay, let's get down to it. All right, here we go. The Stipula Etruria in the Gorilla matte black finish. Okay, actually, I always thought pretty cool name for the pen. Yeah, I mean, absolutely attractive pen. And I've been, again, on a matte black kick, and this one fit right in. Really love this one. Again, my intro to Stipula was the Stipula Splash POS pen, which absolutely just really turned me off to Stipula, and I knew very little about them. What was this, 10, 15 years ago? It was a while back. So I'm really glad that I kind of came around again. I saw the Etruria, and that kind of caught my eye. But, my gut feeling was that it's a POS, that was just my instinct because that's how bad a taste it left in my mouth. And um, I'm pretty happy. I started watching some reviews on it, and that kind of got me thinking. So I'm glad I did, because the Etruria turns out to be a phenomenal pen. As a matter of fact, I think maybe that splash was like their bottom of the line pen. I don't know, but it was really just not great. So yeah, great pen. We're gonna write today with the Platinum Carbon ink. This one I was hesitant about, but I'm glad I did get it because it stopped my curiosity about the ink. Um, they kept saying it's pretty black, and you should get it. You'll appreciate how dark it is. Um, you'll see in the drawing the results, and we'll look at it together as we go. And I'll show you my thoughts on this ink. And that's just my thoughts when I'm drawing with this ink. And I use quite a few different black inks. The only black ink that has gotten rave reviews is that ink by Platinum, and it's expensive and well, relatively expensive, I guess, for ink. But it's like supposed to be the blackest of the black inks, and the name of it's slipping my mind. It's a Japanese name. So I have yet to try that. I hope that one is as saturated as they say it is, because I was well, we'll see with this carbon. I'll show you. So we're going to use the same drawing notebook that we have been using. I think that, as I mentioned before, this is very comparable to the Leuchtturm. So let's see how this ink performs. The pen is great. I've got nothing but great things to say about the Etruria. It does come in different versions now. So some of them are piston fillers, and some of them, like this one, are converters that also take cartridges. Which is better, which is not. It just depends. I mean, honestly, pros and cons on both sides. Some say that having a converter is easier to clean. You could take it out and clean it much easier. I would say not so much if you have a piston filler where the nib unit unscrews easily. If it unscrews easily, I can have that pen washed out super fast while somebody else is still sucking up ink into the converter and spitting it out, and going through that process. So to me, having a piston filler with a nib unit that screws in and out easily, that solves the problem, and I would then prefer that. But if it doesn't, if it's like a friction fit nib, I'd probably take the converter. So for ease of use, the piston generally holds more ink, but that's not always the case. Depends on the pen. So this nib unit comes in and out, and it is still a converter. I don't know why. I think they should have made this one a piston filler. I have the demonstrator version of this, which, by the way, is awesome, and that one is a piston filler. So take that for whatever it's worth. So this pen writes smoothly, and so we're throwing down this ink, and I'm not sure we can tell so much now. Maybe when I start shading it in a little bit, we'll see. But this ink is not so gray as I thought it would, or not so black as I thought it would be, and I just gave it away. It has more of a gray tint to it, in my mind, in my eye. Not even as dark as Aurora Black, not even as dark as Borealis, Noodler's Borealis, or Noodler's Polar, or Noodler's Heart of Darkness. Not even as dark as Kaveco Black. Trying to think. This one, okay, I'll say this. This is just a shade lighter than like the Twisby Black. Twisby Black is also not as dark, has just a lighter tone to it, but not as light as the lightest of the blacks in my mind, which is Pelican 4001, the worst black on the planet. They should just name that one dark gray. That's just my thoughts. So, yeah. So as I start shading this in, I think we'll see, because I've seen that on the Leuchtturm paper as well. Um, yeah. So the grip, or excuse me, the section on this has a really great grip. It's concave, and your fingers sit really well in there. It's also one of those pens that when you're writing with it, drawing with it, you forget it's in your hand. That's how comfortable it is. So uh, posts really well, doesn't set off the balance of the pen, still really nice. Um, and this one just looks cool. I mean, the Gorilla, I mean, even the name is pretty awesome. Um, but anyway, great pen, great nib. Reverse writing's fantastic. You know, there, I'm starting to shade it in. We'll see. Reverse writing's fantastic. Very smooth. So if you are an artist and you like to draw, this is the twofer. You draw a regular and you get a medium line if this is a medium nib, if you get a medium nib. And then if you flip it over, you've got a fine nib. So that is what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and let this one play out, fast speed, and you'll pay attention if you're thinking about that carbon black, platinum carbon black. Take a look at it, get an eyeball on it, and I'm just going to tell you, my mind, it's not as black as I think it's been hyped up to be. So not terrible, just not as black. So I'm going to let this one play out, and if you've made it this far and you've got something out of the video, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe. That helps the channel out. And if you throw a like in there, that'd be awesome too. Appreciate that. So we'll leave it there. I will catch you in the next one. And I appreciate you watching. And thanks for your support. All right. I'll see you later. Bye.